top U.S. Rep Tim Burchett has just spilled the beans on multiple different issues. He's telling us exactly what they're talking about and what they're discussing behind the scenes, congressmen and senators and top officials, and he's also telling us what they are doing behind the scenes, some corruption going on, and things like insider trading as well too. So he's issuing multiple different warnings. We're going to get to both of those, but I want to get to this one first because I think this is the most significant one, and it is concerning because he keeps reiterating this point that something's going on and we don't know what it is. The U.S. military doesn't know what it is. The government doesn't know what it is. The White House, nobody knows what this is. And it's either setting us up for something big, some type of like psyop, or it's setting us up for some type of real disclosure where maybe the government is going to announce that there is potentially something else going on deep underneath the earth. Okay, so let's listen to this really quick and then we'll talk more about it.
You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I'm extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about these areas. And these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. Now, I realize in the water you extrapolate that to knots and all that, but just for good old East Tennessee common sense, 200 miles an hour, something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So, yeah, there's something going on there. And whether it's something that's been here for millennial or whatever, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of like Dr. Loeb. I love to study this kind of stuff. It's the scientific material there he's the one that disclosed some things that were found that were extraterrestrial.
All right, so pretty insane warning that he was giving us. He's saying that there are 5 deep water bases where there are crafts going in and out that are the size of football fields and going up to 200 miles per hour in and out of the water, transmedium transportation, which is very difficult and typically very slow, okay, entering or exiting the water just the way it is. When you're changing mediums like this, it's not practical to be traveling 200 miles per hour. This is something that's almost like breaking physics or something. Imagine something the size of a football field moving 200 miles per hour out of the ocean straight into the air to fly. Okay, it's pretty wild to actually imagine it. It's hard to imagine. And what he's describing is, probably bending or breaking or getting very close to breaking some type of law of physics where this seems almost impossible. Okay, so he doesn't know exactly what it is. He was saying before that these are potentially like, quote, entities, and they might have been here a long time. And I don't know exactly what they're setting us up for, but it's pretty weird, right? And something about these, quote, UAPs, UFOs, unidentified, phenomenons, is that there could be potential transdimensional entities as well too. Okay, there could be stuff that we can't even like truly perceive, and some of them could even be bad. Could even be on the line of things like, quote, demons. Okay, some people even believe that the whole alien conspiracy, UFO, UAP theory is more of a cover for transdimensional demonic activity or something along those lines. Okay, some type of transdimensional entity that is, operating outside of our realm. Okay, and I know that's kind of wild here. I know we're getting into theoretical things here, but this is a top U.S. congressman talking about this, and it's pretty fascinating to even think about what he's seen. What are the things he's seen? What are the things he knows that are making him, be so interested in this? And also, what are the things he doesn't know? Okay, he is a high-level congressman. He's on a few House Intelligence Committees, and a few House committees, but there are people way higher up than him that have access to way more advanced intelligence and reporting, and who knows exactly what they think these things are. They could even potentially be our own technology that is part of a Black Ops Skunk Works program, something along those lines, because we do have those within the U.S. military and within our contracting systems with things like Boeing and aerospace engineering contractors. There are Skunk Works programs, there are Black Ops programs, black budget programs, things like that, where who knows? Okay, think about when they audited the Pentagon and there were hundreds of billions of dollars missing. I think there's been trillions of dollars missing over the past 20 years. I think it was like $2 to $3 trillion, something along those lines. The report came out a year or two ago of just missing money that's unaccounted for in the Pentagon budget. And some of these programs could be under these clandestine operations. Okay, so maybe they're ours. Who knows? Maybe it's something that we have that he doesn't even know about, or maybe he's the person to kind of disclose it publicly to our adversaries to be like, hey, we have these transmedium craft that can travel 200 miles per hour, the size of a football field. So be careful. Okay, it could be more of a warning sign to other countries. Who knows? But it seems like he's genuinely interested in this topic and wants to know what's going on. All right. He also issued a warning for insider trading. All right, you can see here it says he chides colleagues over insider trading, quote, crooked as a dog's leg, which I thought was kind of funny because it's like, okay, well, dogs' front legs are straight, but then their back legs are pretty darn crooked, like a rabbit back there. And you can see here, he said, Americans understand what's going on with Congress, Burchett said Sunday on the, quote, Cats Roundtable show. He said, quote, when they see their members of Congress making 300, 400, 500% returns, dadgummit, they ought not to be in Congress. They ought to be on Wall Street. Okay, this has been going on for decades. He said he called it wrong and said, quote, everybody knows it, and I think it's crooked as a dog's leg, and we need to outlaw it. On September 3rd, a bipartisan group of legislators introduced a bill that would ban any stock trading by members of Congress and their close family members. People like Pelosi are, legends for how much money they have made through stock trading, her and her husband, through insider deals. And this happens all the time. You'll see them go buy a stock days, weeks before there's some type of bill that'll be passed that will give money to some company or will incentivize some type of industry, and they know the stocks are going to go up once this bill passes in a couple weeks that nobody knows about yet, okay? Or they're going to sneak something into the bill that's going to pass. So they're trying to get people to stop insider trading. Hopefully this passes, because this is a major, just like, conflict of interest for representatives, because they could pass bills, pass laws that aren't good for their constituents or their people, but it makes them money, right? It's beefing up their portfolio, so they are going to pass this law regardless. All right, so it needs to change. I'm glad that he's coming out and talking about this, okay? And he's talking about this UAP phenomenon as well too. All right, here's some more details on it. You can see here, sorry for all these ads, a lot of these websites say, you know how it is, you can't look at them unless you have the ads on. All right, and that's how it is on YouTube. There's ads, that's just how it is these days. But it says here that these claims showcase testimony, his claims, Tim Burchett, showcase testimony from the September 9, 2025 House Oversight hearing, where whistleblowers detailed encounters with UAPs. One significant example included a video portraying a orb-like object surviving a direct strike from a Hellfire missile before separating into 4 parts and remaining to fly. Burchett indicated that alien civilization could have still hidden in the waves for, quote, millennia, avoiding detection while humanity was on the surface. Okay, that's what I was saying before. He was insinuating that maybe they've been here a long time. And you can see here that some people have even speculated where these bases are. Okay, and something to note too is that the U.S. has dozens and dozens of underground bases and hundreds of underground connecting tunnels. So the U.S. military and U.S. government does all across the country. So this is something that is real as well too, right? Even if these underwater bases aren't real, we have these underground bases and tunnels all throughout the United States. The U.S. military does. But you can see here they are estimating, Dr. Michael Sala is estimating that there is the region is likely in the Bahamas, okay? And he said he found the tongue of the ocean, a deep water trench off Andros Island, plunging approximately 3,000 feet as a possible hotspot. It says credible whistleblowers, including senior military and executive branch officials, have confirmed underwater bases, citing the U.S. Navy's Atlantic Undersea Testing and Evaluation Center, sometimes named the Area 51 of the ocean. It says Sala mentioned one whistleblower called only as JP, who was said to have been taken by Black Hawk helicopter to a ocean platform, then aboard a high-tech submarine run by tall, Nordic-looking extraterrestrials. Okay, so that's what people are claiming. Who knows? I'm not claiming this, okay, but it's interesting to think what's going on. Why are all these credible people risking their reputation to tell us about these phenomenon? Okay, U.S. congressmen, there's a lot of military whistleblowers as well too. This whole hearing that happened in early September in Congress, there were multiple U.S. military whistleblowers saying that they've seen these phenomenon. They've tracked them and they can't explain through normal circumstances exactly what these things are. All right, so why are all these people coming out? Okay, and we've seen a lot of video. Okay, they were talking earlier about this Hellfire missile. I showed this last month, how it hit this UAP. Okay, the U.S. military shot I believe it was a Navy, shot a, quote, Hellfire missile at this UAP that was over open waters, flying over waters, and it essentially just deflected it, okay, and it seemed to not even change trajectory or anything. The Hellfire missile did not explode, it just kind of bounced off of it. Actually, it looked like the Hellfire missile changed trajectory, and then the UAP kept going the same trajectory, it looked like, and it actually looked like there were 3 little pieces of it that broke off, but then quickly reformed right behind it and continued to follow the main UAP, the 3 little pieces that broke off, and follow it. Okay, so very weird stuff. We don't even know exactly what some of these things are. They could literally not even be aircraft or any type of aircraft that we traditionally think of. They could literally be things like plasma and gases, okay, and who knows, have some type of electromagnetic force field on them. Okay, these could be things that are not even really comprehensible to our normal senses, right? And that might be why they react in these weird ways and why we don't really know what they are. Okay, so make sure you're prepared, make sure you're ready, make sure you're stocked up. Who knows, they could have some big disclosure one day. Okay, big announcement. There's aliens. All right, who knows? It could be real. It could be a psyop. Whatever it is, just be prepared. All right, because something like that would be life changing. It could cause, wars. It could cause countries to destabilize, economies to destabilize. Who knows what it would actually entail, all right? And that's probably part of the reason why we only get disclosures like this through little small interviews from congressmen and insiders, things like that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying prepared. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.